Hello and welcome to Salty About Health. My name is Dalaney and I'm here with my mom and co-host, Mary. So, Mom, why are we salty about health?
Good question. It's because both of us have had struggles, some more serious than others, and no one showed us simple ways we could jump into the driver's seat and take control.
And why are we sharing our views with our listeners?
Well, because we want our listeners to realize that it may take time, but with some simple knowledge about health, they'll be able to make a few changes and dig deeper to take control of their well being and live a more vibrant life.
That's fantastic. But right now, before we get into all of that, we just need to do some housekeeping. Here we go. This is an opinion based podcast. This is not in any way offered as a diagnosis or treatment for any disease, illness, or infirmity for physical or mental condition or any other condition you may have. We are not doctors or practitioners of any kind. Persons needing medical care should obtain it from a medical practitioner. So, consult your practitioner before making any health decision. The opinions offered here in this podcast are ours alone. Again, we're not doctors, and the banter you're going to be listening to is our view and our view alone. Okay, that's done. We, of course, also want to have an open dialogue with our listeners. So stay tuned to the end of the episode, and we'll let you know all of the ways that we can connect. Welcome, everyone. We are so glad to have you back for episode 26. So today we're going to be talking about black mold, which I feel like is the creature from the Black Lagoon or something. Most of our listeners are familiar with mold in the environment, but I'm not sure how many listeners realize the effects that mold have in the environment and that they can have on your health. So, Mom, can you tell our listeners what black mold is and how it can be dangerous for our health?
Okay, so black mold, Stachybotrys, is found especially on water saturated cellulose materials, such as cardboard, fiberboard, or dust, and can release spores as it feeds on organic materials and common household materials like drywall, carpet, insulation, or subflooring that have been exposed to moisture. These spores, if ingested or inhaled, can cause a range of unpleasant and even dangerous symptoms in humans. And unfortunately, mold problems are not unusual in the home. The shower is a classic location where you may find black mold flourishing. In addition to showers, basements, and crawl spaces that may have leaks or some other sources of moisture are commonly susceptible to the growth of black mold. It has a distinctive odor that's musty and mildew-like.
Yes, and mold is a type of fungus. I'd like to also point out that so are mushrooms that grow in filaments and reproduce by forming mold spores, which cannot be seen by the naked human eye. Mold can grow and thrive in any season. It's almost like ticks nowadays because there's no
Yes.
more frost to kill them off. So they're always there. Indoors, outdoors, in damp, warm, and humid environments, which we all don't like damp environments, but we definitely like warm environments.
Some people like damp environments.
That's
I
true.
don't. I like a dry environment. I'm
I
high
do.
desert type, but there are
Yeah.
people who,
That's true. You know what? That is true because one of my volleyball teammates was just like, she was like, you know what? I love the South and I love muggy weather. And I was like, ew, I don't resonate with you. I was like, okay, so there are people that can live in that because I was like, I love that I live in the mountains and it's like fresh and happy.
Is she from the South?
No, she is from this area. So I think maybe if she lived in it for a while, I don't know if her opinion would change, but she is not from a humid place. So I
Well,
don't know.
you can tell her to spend a week in Mississippi, and you can even do that in October, and it is muggy.
See how that goes.
Yes. Then ask her
Yeah.
how she likes the humidity and
Oh my
dampness.
gosh. but we know mold does. And once it's in a damp, warm, humid environment, it loves to spread like wildfire. It flourishes in those warm, moist environments, but mold spores can even survive harsh, dry environments. So, yeah, this thing is like a cockroach. The spores float around in indoor and outdoor air, and when they land on moist surfaces, they then start to grow. Oh, and another place to watch out for mold is on your HVAC or air conditioning system, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. That's what that stands for, which is constantly recycling air. So if there's moisture in the air, this can then lead to moisture inside the system, which then leads to mold growth. In addition to the mold actually growing within the inside of the system itself, now you have a system that's spewing out mold spores into your living space. And sometimes I think like my car is pretty clean, but sometimes if you haven't used the air conditioning system in it in a while, then you kick it on. I was like, I don't think there's black mold in mine, but it just has that same like, ugh, recycled air grossness. Anyways, that's why it's good to have your HVAC systems checked and cleaned regularly or even replaced if the system already contains mold.
You can change the cabin filter in your car. You should look that
No, I
up.
do. Yeah, like I do change the air filter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, do you have your HVAC system cleaned, and have you had it?
Yes, at home. Yeah. We just had
Oh,
it inspected a few months ago, actually. So,
did you have it cleaned?
yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's important. Okay, so black mold can affect the brain and lead to dizziness, lack of energy and concentration, and memory problems. It can cause swelling of the lymph nodes, muscle and joint problems, nose bleeding, loss of hair, and even poor appetite.
There are also several common symptoms of black mold toxicity. And some of these symptoms of mold exposure include headaches, chronic fatigue, fever, eye irritation, sneezing, rashes, irritation to the mucous membrane of the mouth. That feels super specific. Nose and throat, and chronic coughing. There's a mucous membrane in your mouth?
Yes.
Really?
A mucus lining. Yes.
Oh, okay. So just like your saliva or like.
It's your mouth. It goes all the way down through your gut. It's one big tunnel.
Like I know it's connected to your nose and throat, but I just thought like mucus always came from like your sinuses.
No, any kind of mucus lining. I don't know what this is rated. Your vaginal, your eyes too can dry out, your mouth, your nose. You know. Okay.
Okay, moving on. Black mold symptoms are even worse if the black mold exposure is severe, it has lasted for a long time, or if the individual has a mold allergy. I mean, our mold isn't, aren't we all kind of allergic to it? I
No,
mean,
some people actually have a higher tolerance for it because their
okay.
body deals with it better.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not good for anybody to be exposed to it. But yes,
Right.
some people's bodies can take care of it and don't
Okay.
have the issues that I have.
Well, so if you have a low tolerance, like mom, poor mom, your symptoms could include nausea, vomiting, as well as bleeding in the lungs. Yikes. Studies have also linked household mold exposure to depression. The extent of black mold symptoms depends upon the number of spores inhaled and the duration of the exposure. Black mold easily causes mold allergy symptoms, and symptoms likely persist until you get rid of the black mold.
Yeah, and a lot of times people don't realize the health problems they're having are actually black mold symptoms. It is not something to ignore because it only gets worse the longer you ignore it. So if you're looking for a way to confirm that you have black mold poisoning, or if you don't, some laboratories offer testing for the presence of mycotoxins in the body. Labs use an immunology test called an enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, which is ELISA, is what they call it, to test urine samples for aflatoxins, ochratoxin A, and trichothecin. I think that's what it says, trichothecin. So they check for those three things.
Okay. So, for those listeners who feel they have been exposed to black mold, we're going to go over some natural ways, of course, because it's us, to deal with the symptoms of black mold. First of all, my favorite cooking ingredient of all time, raw garlic has an amazing antifungal abilities, which is just what your body needs when it has been exposed to black mold. Garlic helps kill off fungi, molds, and yeast. 2 to 4 grams of fresh garlic per day, or 600 milligrams to 900 milligrams of garlic tablets a day, is recommended for toxic mold exposure, according to Dr. Axe. And it helps with mosquitoes, and it tastes good on everything.
And it helps keep other people away from you. That's a vampire thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, so that's, I guess that would be the side effects of raw garlic, is it's gonna stank up your breath, but
It does, and some people do parasite cleanses. They take so much garlic, and
oh
you
my
can
gosh.
smell them when they come in.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. Like when you like kind of like sweat garlic.
Well, when I was stationed in Korea and we had to run the Katusas, which are the Koreans augmented to the United States Army, they Koreans traditionally eat a lot of garlic
And a
they,
lot of raw garlic.
yeah.
Like one like Korean barbecue, I think a big thing with it. If you do like beef and leaf, like literally you like cook the meat, hold some lettuce, put some garlic, fresh garlic cloves, like whole cloves in there, put some meat and just like throw it back.
Yes. So when you were running in formation, you wanted to be in front of the Katusas because
Aww.
you would sweat, you'd be on this run. And I was not a strong runner, but let me tell you, that motivated me. But I wonder if they even have a mold problem, in Korea because of all the garlic they eat.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure they still have molds, but yeah,
No,
you're
I
right. They
meant
probably
for
have like a
people,
high
in
tolerance.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably, will be
That's
listening to
true.
this episode and say, oh, that's not an issue for us.
We're so great.
So there are lots of benefits to garlic. And also, activated charcoal can be taken as a supplement for mold cleansing. Most people don't think about mold living in their bodies, but it can. And activated charcoal is a potent natural treatment. It traps toxins in the body, allowing them to be flushed out so the body doesn't reabsorb them. Activated charcoal is made from a variety of sources, but when used for natural healing, it's important to select activated charcoal made from coconut shells or other
Hmm.
natural sources. So, yeah, you would just want to, when you go online to buy it, just make sure it's food grade,
Okay,
and
yeah, yeah.
for consumption.
And I'm curious because I really like activated charcoal toothpaste, so I wonder if that has any effect in this capacity or if it's just like mixed in too much to do anything for me
And
besides help whiten my teeth.
and I'm sure your toothbrush doesn't get any mold on it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. That
I
is.
don't do well with activated charcoal. That's just maybe it's the source that I'm getting it from, but I prefer garlic and
Mhm.
chlorophyll. But if people do, great
Yeah.
on activated charcoal. It is, if you have food poisoning, there are a lot of things people will take activated charcoal for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like you just said, chlorophyll is so much more than a green pigment found in plants, which we all probably learned about in science class. It has shown an ability to protect DNA from damage caused by toxic molds like aflatoxin. Chlorophyll also has antibacterial and antifungal properties, making it a highly recommended part of any healthy diet, but especially one that is looking to fight black mold symptoms. It's in any green vegetables, especially dark leafy green ones. It's Chl- Chlorella?
Chlorella.
Chlorella. Spirulina. I was on a spirulina kick for a while. Didn't we take like spirulina tablets?
We did. You had to take quite a bit, though.
You
I think
did.
it
You had to take like
was like 6
6.
to 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phytoplankton. Really? You can eat phytoplankton?
Yes.
Okay. I would feel like a whale. It'd be kind of cool, but okay. They're 3 of the best sources of chlorophyll, and they're available in a variety of supplement forms.
Chlorella, doesn't that sound like, what is it, Chlorella Deville or something?
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My husband has he watched 101 Dalmatians like once and doesn't really remember it, but I have him hooked on that song because it's really fun and jazzy.
Oh, don't you have the video?
The video?
The 101 Dalmatians? Can you watch
No,
it?
because someone, aka my mom, got rid of all of my DVDs as a child. Or no, my VHS tapes, which are now
VHS.
like back in vogue. So you could have made millions on those, but mom gave them away at a yard sale.
Well,
Like the
someone I
good Disney ones.
well,
It's
someone I
fine. I
know,
have Disney Plus now.
I was gonna say, has Disney Plus. You should be able to get it. So hopefully, yes, I like that movie. So you'll have to have him watch that.
Yes.
Okay, so of course, my favorite is, of course, to cut down or cut out sugar.
Hey.
If you're suffering from mold toxicity, sugar is definitely not your friend. Fungi, which include molds and yeast, require the presence of sugar for survival. Eliminate or significantly cut down your sugar intake to help to get rid of any black mold symptoms. And that's with really any kind of fungus in your body.
Yeah.
Well, any
And yeast.
bacteria.
I mean, how do we make alcohol? It's sugar and yeast, and they eat up the sugar and poop out
The alcohol.
the champagne. Woo! Science.
So, yes. I was going to say something, but I'm not. Go ahead.
Okay. But also, grapefruit seed extract can be taken internally, used externally, or as a cleaning agent to kill mold in the home.
Okay, so if you have black mold in your environment and can see or smell it, remove it immediately. We are going to go over some natural ways you can clean black mold up from your home. And I didn't say this earlier, but we got the information, which is in the show notes, from an article by Dr. Axe. And then also we added in the show notes Bob Villa, the home improvement guy. Is that we?
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
I
an
don't.
article on how to clean up black mold in your home.
Oh,
So if
cool.
you watch This Old House, I think it is. I'm not sure. Is it? Anyway.
Yeah, that's a show. I don't have HGTV, so.
Oh yeah, it's the last name's Villa, but I think it's is it Villa? But I think he pronounces it Villa.
Vila, maybe.
But anyway, so there
cool.
are, and there's another also dangers of black mold on your health. That's also in the show notes. So there are some links.
Okay.
So because if we were to really go into depth on this, it would take forever. So we just wanted people to be aware of possible symptoms they're having, and it may be the home that they live in, and to clean up the black mold, and then to try to clean it up internally too.
Cool. So the first thing you want to do is identify the moisture source. Identify what's creating the warm, damp environment in which the black mold can flourish. And if you clean up black mold but don't address the source of the moisture, then it's obviously just going to return. No natural or conventional treatment will prevent or remove mold permanently unless you remove the mold's necessary ingredient, which is moisture. So cut it off at the source.
Yeah, and in the hall closet where I live, it's kind of outside. You know, they added on that little portico that I rent. So it is damp in there, and I always put damp rid in there. That works actually really well. They cleaned up the mold, and I keep the damp rid in there. And
Yeah.
that's something you can also maybe do. Obviously, a dehumidifier for like the
Yeah,
basement.
we have that in the basement. And
Yeah.
actually, another thing we did, well, my husband did, was even think about like where your gutters like drain to, because the issue we were having, which our house is on a slope, so you would just think it would all run down the slope, but actually at the top of the slope it was pooling near the house. So he had to redo the like French drains or whatever, like underneath, to get it to get away. And we didn't have black mold in the basement, but the wall was damp. And people before us were like, oh yeah, like we just, we just don't put anything there so it doesn't get wet. So we actually fixed it. As
Yay.
you should. So yeah, it's much
I
better.
remember that weekend because I was visiting and we were out running around having a great time, and we
Yep.
would come back and your poor husband was digging holes and
Digging a
trenches
ditch.
and fixing things.
And then the neighbor's kids tried to help and tried to pick up the pickaxe. Yep.
Okay. That could have gone poorly, but it didn't.
No.
Okay. So, then you want to fix the source. So you need to completely fix any water leaks, enable better ventilation where humidity is high, and or address any HVAC system problems. You can also purchase a dehumidifier for any areas that tend to be too humid. Exhaust fans are in kitchens and bathrooms for good reason. So make sure you use them to get moisture out of these prime mold areas.
And just throw away mold ridden items, like just get them out. Discard any items that are porous, or if you're unable to completely remove the mold from them. It's also a very smart idea to get rid of any carpets that have been flooded because they're very prone to mold. And never just paint or caulk over a moldy surface.
But they do have, once you clean it up, paints now that are mold resistant. Okay, so tea tree oil is effective, though bleach will definitely work to effectively kill black mold. However, bleach can have concerning health side effects, including irritation to the eyes, mouth, lungs, and skin. If you have asthma or another breathing problem, then the use of bleach can be even more health hazardous. So, bleach can also burn human tissue, both internally and externally, especially in small children. Tea tree oil is one of the of several natural mold killers that you can employ instead of bleach. To put tea tree oil's natural fungicide to work, just combine 2 teaspoons of tea tree oil with 2 cups of water and a spray bottle and shake well. Spray the mixture anywhere that you see black mold. Then just let it sit and reapply as needed. Tea tree oil is said to be one of the best natural mold killers. Pine oil can also be used in a similar fashion. Now, later on, we're going to get to, scrubbing the place. And I think
Mm-hmm.
I would do that even if I put the tea tree oil on there and kind of let it kill the mold. I think I would wipe it up and then maybe reapply.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, and if you are using bleach as well, like definitely wipe it up.
Well, bleach, yes. And,
Yeah.
and yeah, you don't want to mix bleach with anything really.
Nope. Baking soda is another great natural anti mold substance. And I like to point out too, like, there's a lot of toothpaste with all of these ingredients in them. We've got the charcoal, activated charcoal, the tea tree oil, that's in toothpaste, baking soda is in toothpaste. So we know they work, right? So mix a teaspoon of baking soda with 2 cups of water in a spray bottle and make sure to shake the mixture well. And then next, spray the moldy areas and use a scrubbing brush to scrub the black mold away. And you can get scrub brushes at the dollar store, because you're probably going to want to get rid of the brush after this. Rinse the area, spray it again with the baking soda solution, and then just let it dry.
Yes. Speaking of, well, tea tree, I put that in my water pick, just a drop or two in the water, just to
Okay.
keep things clean. And a lot of people will do that. We have people come in that are on oxygen. And
Mm-hmm.
it's important to keep that clean too, because you
Yeah.
can get mold in the lines.
Okay.
And then I have a question about the baking soda. Did you ever do the baking soda experiment to
No, because
see?
you reminded me right after I took another thing. Like, I don't really eat breakfast, so like when I wake up in the morning, I just take a supplement, and I had just taken it and just burped because we were talking about that. So I was like, ah, dang it. So
Yes, our last episode we were talking about reflux, and there is a baking soda
yeah.
experiment, and it was unfortunate, but I did not pass.
Womp womp. But we also know mom benefits from taking digestives.
Yes, but I thought, well, maybe I don't have to, and maybe that's why. Maybe I need to not take digestives for a week and then try it.
Ooh,
Yeah, we'll see.
that'd be a good one.
Okay, so you can use vinegar. Just put undiluted white distilled vinegar into a spray bottle and spray the vinegar directly on the moldy areas. Let it set without any rinsing or scrubbing. This is a smelly, natural mold remedy, but it's said to be highly effective and the vinegar scent will fade. You can use vinegar on your hair to clean the bathrooms.
Sunburn.
Yes, yes. So, it may be worth the smell.
And then, as we talked about, grapefruit seed extract, it can be an alternative to vinegar. So, if you don't like that smell, it's an excellent antifungal, both internally and externally. So, to use it on the mold in your house, just simply combine 20 drops of grapefruit seed extract with 2 cups of water in a spray bottle, shake it up, and then spray it directly on the mold and do not rinse.
Yes, I have grapefruit seed extract pills here.
Oh,
They're
okay.
great for, parasitic or fungal, things like that.
Nice.
So, hydrogen peroxide is another odorless option that can be used to kill black mold. Pour a 3% concentration of hydrogen peroxide into a spray bottle and spray the moldy areas until they are saturated. Let the hydrogen peroxide sit for at least 10 minutes before scrubbing the area well. Wipe the area with hydrogen peroxide when you're done scrubbing. Now you can go online and get, I think it's like a 52% concentration of hydrogen peroxide. It comes in a big thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's much more potent.
Yeah. And then it's good on your cuts and scrapes too to clean out the wound. So
Yes.
it's nice to have around. And it's pretty cool because it doesn't really hurt and then it fizzes up and it's kind of fun. So obviously natural remedies may not be as strong as bleach. Though tea tree oil, if you've ever used like the shampoo, to me it's like super tingly. So
It is
pretty
strong.
great.
Tea
Yeah.
tree oil is very strong. Great.
So, but regardless, they may need to be repeated. But keep in mind, you want to get rid of the source of the mold and then aim to keep the humidity down in your home, ideally not higher than 50%. So, if humidity is a problem where you live, like, I don't know, Mississippi,
And Florida.
in Florida, oh my gosh, Georgia, South Carolina, all the places we all like to visit unless we live there, then you may want a dehumidifier. It can be very helpful. This is especially important when the weather is humid outdoors. In the warmer months, an air conditioner can help to keep the humidity down.
Yes, and it's also a good idea to regularly clean your home, especially your bathroom and basement, with natural anti mold products. This will help to keep black mold away.
And if you do opt to go the conventional route and use bleach to clean up black mold, never mix bleach with ammonia or any other household cleaning product. Doing so can cause extremely dangerous and even fatal fumes. And this is like random, but I read a book that this guy wrote. He, I don't know, he was the second child growing up, and for some reason his mom decided to hate him, so she would like abuse him. And one of her go-tos was like locking him in the bathroom with a big thing of bleach and just like making him breathe it in. So
Oh my
so
gosh.
dangerous. Oh yeah, she was terrible to him. It's called, I think the book is called The Boy Called It.
Oh, I read that. Really?
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. She did terrible things to him. Anyways, yeah,
That's an old book. You probably read my copy. Who knows?
probably.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yes, it is. Okay, so always wear protective gloves and eyewear when cleaning mold. Make sure you cover the skin of your arms as well as your hands. You should always wear a respirator or mask designed for work with mold spores. An N95 respirator is available online or at some hardware stores to increase ventilation, open windows, and let fresh air inside. Of course, this was written before the pandemic, so N95 respirator masks may be harder to get, but you can order them.
Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, because I think most people day to day use cloth ones. But yeah. So, of course, if you have a very large area that needs to be cleaned up, or if the black mold is in your walls, etc., go online and find professional remediation services. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And again, we want to hear from you guys. We always want to hear from you guys. Please, please, please reach out to us. And here are just a few ways that you can do that. You can reach out via Instagram and Facebook. Find us at Salty About Health, even Snapchat at Salty Health. You can email us at saltyabouthealth@gmail.com. Or if you just want to find all that in one place, check out our website, saltyabouthealth.com. We've got all the ways for you to listen and connect there. And finally, if you like what you hear today, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. We really appreciate it. So, Mom, if they want to hear from you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, I am a certified health coach and I do coach one-on-one. So if you're interested, you can contact me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com. I also do research for people who are interested in finding alternative approaches to do in conjunction with the health issue or illness their doctor is treating them for. So again, just reach out to me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com. That's where they can find me.
Cool. Okay. And if you guys want to find me, I'm not a health coach, but I'm on Instagram hanging out there at Dalaney.a. Find out how to spell my name in the show notes and everything. And of course, I'll be the one mainly keeping an eye on the social media. So always happy to chat with you guys via the Salty Network. Also, just want to shout out our intro and outro music. It is by Yule, and you can find her at www.yulearts.com. That's EULARTS. You can also find her on Instagram at Yule_arts or Spotify and YouTube. Check her out. Her piano music and everything else is amazing. And until next time, stay salty.
Stay salty.